Hey guys, it is Clay at CPAP My Way, cpapmyway.com. I am finally getting around today to discussing some significant issues that people are describing with the DreamStation 2. I've heard the comments, and I just kind of wanted to do my due diligence and reach out to some people and understand things before I addressed it on our channel here. But there have been a ton of rumors about DreamStation 2s catching on fire. And in this video, I'm going to go over number one, are we actually having DreamStation 2s catching on fire? What Respironics is saying about that. There's a term thermal events that is being thrown around. I'm going to describe that to you and help you understand what that is. And then how many of these issues are actually being reported to the FDA. Philips is under a lot of scrutiny from the FDA right now, as you could imagine, so it would be very difficult to believe that they're able to hide things. So I'm going to go based off of what the FDA and Philips are telling me, in addition to the thousands of customers that we now have using DreamStation 2s because of the recall and because of sales prior to the recall. So not only do we have the information from the reported incidents to the FDA, we've got Philips Respironics response, as well as a ton of personal experience with these devices and our customers. So if you enjoy the info, we really appreciate the thumbs up. Comment with any questions or things you think I ought to expand on in this, and subscribe if you want more info like this. I'm also going to put a link to all of this information in the description below, so if you want to read through this, it'll have the link to the FDA website, to the Philips Respironics address, and I'll also in that I'll put a link in there to the class action lawsuit that's been talked about here lately as well. So let's jump right in. Okay, I'm going to start off with what is being reported to the FDA by Philips. The DreamStation 2 is obviously under a lot of scrutiny, just like the DreamStation 1, and I would imagine that everybody's kind of on pins and needles waiting for anything, an update from the FDA. So when something comes out, it is a big deal and everybody pays attention. What's being described to the FDA are thermal events, okay? This particular DreamStation 2 has the integrated heated humidifier. It heats up the water in this chamber, allows more of that water to evaporate and keep you from drying out while you're using your CPAP. The higher you turn that up, the higher the little heater plate goes, warms more water evaporates, you get more humidity. That is pretty much a necessity for most CPAP users. Almost every new CPAP on the market, doesn't matter which manufacturer, comes with an integrated heated humidifier just like this. Okay, so that leads us to what is a thermal event. Thermal event is anything that people report related to the DreamStation 2 heated humidifier malfunctioning. Some of those things that we have heard about have been, and I'm not saying that they've been my experience. I have not had a customer reach out about this, but what Philips and what the FDA reported, maybe a burning plastic smell, or that the heater plate got extremely hot, or that they smelled like something may be burning. All of those units obviously have been sent back to Philips for inspection, and none of them have been reported as having caught on fire. Of course, everyone knows the old adage, where there's smoke, there's fire, but we need to look at the quantity of these particular reported events. So out of the, at this point, millions of these DreamStation 2s that have been sent out worldwide, there have been about, as of the date of this recording, about 270 thermal events reported. So that's not a lot. It is something obviously that you'd want to keep your eye on, but they released these reports in batches to the FDA. So it made it look like there was a big spike. You know, it went from 0 to maybe 100, and then maybe 100 to 200 because of the way they reported this, and that's according to Respironics. So they believe that most of this concern came because they released them in batches instead of, you know, the dribble of 1 or 2 reports at a time. So you could see how people might have gotten concerned, especially people at the FDA. Now, the FDA did put out a statement about it, which again is going to be in that link below in the description. So if you want to read the full-blown report from the FDA, it is going to be in there. That way you can go direct to the source. All right, so I also just want to give you the statement from Philips. So I'm also going to put it up here while you are listening. You can kind of read along with me here. On November 28th, that's of this year, 2023, U.S. Food and Drug Administration released a safety communication regarding possible thermal issues with the DreamStation 2 sleep therapy device while in use. There was not a sharp increase of reportable complaints. As part of our ongoing commitment to patient safety and quality, we conducted a retrospective review of possible DreamStation 2 thermal complaints initiated over the course of almost 3-year period since its launch in 2021. We filed approximately 270 reports with the FDA over the last 3 months as part of this post-market surveillance. These reports were submitted in batches starting in August 2023, which we believe may have been interpreted incorrectly as a sharp increase in customer complaints. DreamStation 2 can continue to be used. As with any medical device, the instructions for use should be followed. Our number one priority continues to be patient safety and quality, and we treat all feedback from our patients and regulators with the highest levels of urgency. It is important to note, bullet point 1, outside of continued adherence to the instructions for use, no additional action is needed by patients or DME home care providers as a result of this FDA's publication. Bullet point number 2, underlined and underscored, there is no product recall at this time. Okay? So, it sounds like maybe they just didn't do a very good job of reporting these things, and so they, to cover themselves, kind of put it all out there at one time. Maybe the term's not to cover themselves, but to make sure it was done. They kind of dumped it all out from their report all at one time when they were looking back to find out about these thermal events. From my perspective here, we have a ton of customers using DreamStation 2s. Outside of the normal pros and cons that people are going to give us from any device, we really haven't had any complaints. We certainly haven't had anybody reaching out about one of these thermal events to my knowledge. If we did, it would definitely come across my desk. So I don't know whether this is a concern or not. It's certainly something to keep in mind, and you kind of want to stay tuned to this stuff just to make sure nothing gets worse. But at this time, it sounds like a lot to do about nothing. However, in saying that, if you have experienced this, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Exactly what happened, what they did for you, did you report it? Everything you could tell me about a thermal event related to this DreamStation 2, I would love to hear in the comments here. So, if you enjoyed the info, we'd really appreciate the thumbs up. I really appreciate you watching, and don't forget, if you've had any experience with any of this, we really want to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks for watching.